If you build the world's greatest race car, but you don't put gas in the tank, how fast will it go? Will you win any races? It's the same with sales processes and methodologies. You can put the right structure in place for making a great sales call, but without the right messages, tools, and coaching, process alone won't get you the victory. You can get behind the wheel and everything appears ready, but you still aren't going to win unless you put fuel in the tank. Great sales messaging is the gas that makes the race car go. Messaging fuels methodology. Put another way, sales methodology is about how to structure an opportunity or an account. It helps you create a framework for creating a deal and knowing whether you are making progress as you manage that deal through the pipeline. But at various points during the sales process, your lips have to move, or your fingers have to hit the keyboard, and you have to execute a remarkable, memorable, and compelling customer conversation. These messaging moments of truth will mean the difference between winning and losing every time, because it's not just about knowing where to show up and whom to speak with, it's about what you say when you get there. Dial a methodology. When the economy is great, as it was in the late 1990s, with a technology bubble, even mediocre salespeople can exceed their quota. More recently, several analyst firms have found that on average, about 50% of companies' sales reps are achieving their quota. Ironically, as the economy has gotten tougher, these analysts also reported that 80% or more of the companies surveyed planned on raising their salespeople's quotas. So when sales needs to hunker down and improve its performance, what do you typically hear from sales management? We need a better sales process. We need a better methodology. Then your sales management team and your sales training experts spin the dial to pick one of the many options available in the marketplace, in hopes that it will help you rise above the economic pressures and rapid commoditization of your market. Unfortunately, many of these programs struggle to deliver the results hoped for. In fact, a few years back, McKinsey & Company documented that 75% of solution selling efforts at companies were deemed to be failures within 3 years. Having the right messages to fuel your methodology is more important than ever. 4 years ago, we performed a survey of marketing and sales executives for Tim's first book, Customer Message Management: Increasing Marketing's Impact on Selling. We found that 70% of the executives surveyed ranked commoditization or competitive differentiation as their number one threat to growth outside the economy. Why? There are more capable competitors than ever before. Customers are overwhelmed by the amount and complexity of information. As a result, customers, in their confusion, were telling salespeople that they see all the competitors as the same. Your challenge is to avoid commoditization and set yourself apart from the competition. Given that sales processes and methodologies have been around for 20 years, most companies have tried 2 or 3 of them, and most salespeople have been trained on at least that many, don't you think maybe something is missing? Your sales conversations are becoming the last battleground in competitive differentiation, and your messaging, even more than your methodology, is what matters most in this hyper-competitive environment. You could argue that your message is your most strategic competitive asset when everything else appears to be the same. Messaging is a top strategic initiative. Recently, some of the top analyst firms have done research that seems to be pointing to this same conclusion. Sales messaging that fuels better customer conversations is a top strategic initiative. In one example, Sirius Decisions, a leading marketing and sales advisory service, concluded the salesperson's inability to communicate value during customer interactions is perceived as the greatest inhibitor to sales success. In a corresponding piece of research in which the firm asked executive customers about the quality of their interactions with salespeople, only 10% of executives rated their sales calls as providing enough value to warrant the time they spent on them. Another major industry firm with a significant sales enablement practice, Forrester, determined that only 15% of sales calls add enough value, according to executives surveyed. And just 7% of those executives said that they